So, hi, I'm Karina Gordon Barnes of youinspireme.co.uk, and I am very fortunate to be here today with the lovely Joanna Penn of the Creative Penn with two N's.com, who knows a whole lot more about publishing than I do. And as I'm sitting here with my non-fiction manuscript ready to do something with, I thought who better than to ask Joanna for her expertise. So, thank you for joining me today, Joanna.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm really happy that we could talk. So, just for those people who are watching and who don't know you already, just tell us a little bit about your publishing, why you're in the publishing world.
Right, well, about 4 years ago, similar to yourself, I had a non-fiction book that I'd written. It was called How to Enjoy Your Job or Find a New One, about career change. And I wrote that and then I submitted it to a few people and it wasn't going anywhere. So I started looking into self-publishing and, I started to get to know that world, started to learn about marketing, did all of that stuff. And along the way, I just wanted to share it with other people. So I started the Creative Penn as a way to help others save time and money and energy along the way. And since writing that book, I've expanded and I've now written a thriller novel called Pentecost, which
looks amazing.
Well, and I'm loving writing fiction. It's absolutely brilliant. So I've completely changed direction really, and I'm still helping other people publish, but I basically self-publish, mainly on the Kindle, which we might be talking about, and mainly with Americans. Although I now live in England, I have been in Australia, so it's a global world now for self-publishers. There's a lot of opportunity for people who can just get out there and do it themselves. So it's kind of my passion to tell people the options that are available to them. And I absolutely love publishing in all of its forms. I'm not anti-traditional publishing at all, but I just want people to know what the options are so they can make an informed decision.
That's what I found inspirational when I first found you, was actually that self-publishing wasn't just the option if someone decided, oh, I can't get published traditionally, it's my last resort. Actually, you could choose to be self-published because there are different reasons for actively wanting that, as opposed to having a traditional publisher.
Yes, absolutely. And I think for me with the novel, it was very much being a first-time novelist is a bit naff really, and people don't know anything about you. They don't know what your writing's like, and I didn't even submit that to a publisher. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to publish it myself, see what happens, because I know how to market now, and if it's really successful, I'll get a book deal, but actually what's happened is it's selling really well. I'm not even looking for a publisher still. I'm going to write the next one and the next one, and if people don't know, there have been some brilliant stories recently about people who've published on Kindle who have got book deals, and people who've published mainstream and who have now left traditional publishing to go, we actually kind of call it indie, independent publishing.
Well, that's cool. That takes me back to like the 90s when it was all I don't know, Nirvana or all the indie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, indie music in terms of independent music rather than whatever that indie grunge was. But it's more a choice, a positive choice these days than oh my god, I can't do it any other way type of thing, which makes it a very positive community. I think now it's a really happy one.
Yes, because it used to be called Vanity Publishing. There was a branch of it that was called Vanity Publishing, and it seems to have lost that image now of being, ego-aggrandizing or something.
Well, let's keep the idea of what used to be called vanity publishing is still around, but people are using the phrase assisted publishing. So basically, a vanity company is basically one that's going to potentially charge you a lot of money to self-publish your book. And I am absolutely all for helping authors, but I think there are cost-effective ways to do it. So, for example, if you wanted to go a self-publishing route, you definitely need an editor. Everyone needs an editor. Yeah. You will most likely need cover design, unless you're a cover designer yourself. If you're going to print it, you need either a printer or print on demand, which we will be talking about. Yeah. So you need help. If you're going to publish on the Kindle, you might want someone to format your book, for example, because you don't know HTML, you don't want to play around with that. So you definitely need partners, because being an author is not just do it yourself on your own if you want a professional product. But there's a big difference between paying, you know, a couple of £100 or a couple of $100 versus paying $20,000. And that's what I get upset about, is when I see people who are sucked into some, you know, old style vanity publishing where they're asked to pay $20,000 to buy a whole stack of their books. And you don't need to do that anymore. You can use print on demand, Lightning Source, CreateSpace, what we'll talk about next, to when somebody buys a book on Amazon, it actually gets printed and sent to them directly. You don't need to buy $20,000 worth of books up front anymore. So there are still companies like that around. So I would just say to people, beware of you know, your budget. Look at what you really need to spend money on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I really, really want to hear about this Lightning Source experience, because, as you say, the three areas that I'm currently thinking through are the editing process, the design process, and the printing. So maybe we could work backwards and start with the printing.
Yeah.
So you went with Lightning Source. Tell us a little bit about what that means.
Okay. Well, actually, for my first book, I went with Lulu. Lulu.com. So the companies we're talking about for people would be Lulu.com, would be CreateSpace.com, which is Amazon's own.
This is my little list. I've got my little list of Lulu, CreateSpace, and Lightning Source.
Yeah. And Lightning Source is, you actually have to be a publisher to use Lightning Source, but you can still be a publisher with just your one book. But what I would say is, if you are brand new at doing this, you don't have any experience, you might prefer CreateSpace or Lulu to Lightning Source, because CreateSpace and Lulu have a lot of help. They have a lot of wizards, you know, it's a very user-friendly platform, whereas Lightning Source is a bit cheaper per book, so you'll make a bit more money, but you actually have to really know what you're doing, so they're not going to help you very much. You know, you upload a print-ready file, which if you've got and you know what you're doing is absolutely fine, and that's what I did with Pentecost. I loaded the print-ready files, but Lulu and CreateSpace will actually give you more of a helping hand. They also have packages for authors. So again, I talked about author services, and if you're paying a couple of $100 for a book cover or, you know, formatting, then that sounds fine to me. It's just the, you know, bigger amounts that are scary. So yeah, I went with Lulu originally. I'm now with CreateSpace, who are very good.
With Lightning Source?
Sorry, yeah, Lightning Source. I'm now with Lightning Source.
Have you ever gone with CreateSpace?
No, I haven't. I think because I just went, you know, Lulu was my equivalent at the time. Yeah. And when I did it, there was another company, BookSurge, and, you know, but they've all merged now. So I would say that CreateSpace is a really good place to start. Okay. The other one, if people are looking, is Blurb.com, and Blurb, BLURB, are really good for photo books, and they also have like a charity arm where they do, you know, specific reductions and promotions for books for charity. So I quite like them as well. Yeah, so there are some options, but basically all of these services, you load up a file. So you either load a print-ready PDF, or you can load up a Word document on Lulu or CreateSpace. And then what happens is you can distribute that to Amazon. So these companies are your print-on-demand partner. And then you click a checkbox or whatever on the author page, and it will distribute to Amazon and to potentially other online bookstores, because once you're on these catalogues, any company can sell your book. So essentially then your book arrives on Amazon. Just like that. It's amazing. I still remember the first time it happened, I was like, oh my God, my book's on Amazon. Wow. But that's truly amazing, isn't it? The fact that you don't have to buy your books. They can go on Amazon, and then, as I said, what happens is someone decides to buy it, they click the buy now, the order goes to Lightning Source, CreateSpace, whoever, they print one book and they send it to the customer. And that means you don't need to do any shipping, you don't need to do printing, hold stock, you don't pay up front, you just get the residual income afterwards. Now, obviously, print on demand, you will get less money per book than if you personally did a print run of 5,000 books. You could then sell them for more money and make more profit, but you have to pay up front, you have to hold stock, and you have to do shipping.
Store them all in your garage and go to the post office with a jiffy bag every other day.
Yes, exactly. And what we're talking about with most books is such a small margin on every book. It just doesn't make sense. So you want to be looking at other ways to make money. If it's non-fiction, coaching, back-end products. If it's fiction, you want to sell bulk loads.
Yeah.
And if we talk about Kindle, that's why I'm moving more into the ebook space. But does that make sense? Does that explain how it works?
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. I'm still unclear if I have a designer, like the one you recommended, who does create a print-ready file. I mean, it looks beautiful, it's formatted properly, the layout's all there. Is there any reason not to go with Lightning Source?
No.
If I've got that PDF file.
Yes, if you can get, so what, I mentioned Joel at thebookdesigner.com, who I recommend to everybody, so I'm happy to mention him here. Joel basically gave me, we discussed the book, he also designed my cover, and he gave me a PDF for the cover, which you upload, and a PDF for the contents of the book, which he also formatted, and I uploaded those two files, very easy. You obviously have to decide the size that you want. Yeah. You upload those, and then you have to, with all of these services, you have to order one book. Okay. And then you have to physically look at the book and sign off that book before they will distribute it to Amazon. But that doesn't take too long. I mean, remember with print, everything takes a bit longer. I mean, with Kindle, you upload a book, it's for sale in 24 hours. Yeah. But, with a print book, you have got a lot of other steps.
Yes, okay. But if you have got someone like Joel who's working with you, would there be any advantage of going with Lulu and CreateSpace?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so if someone's watching this and they're going to kind of do the design themselves, they might want to go with Lulu or CreateSpace because they're going to be walked through it with the wizards. I love that idea, the wizards. But if you're hiring a professional designer, you should be fine for Lightning Source.
Yes, definitely. And all of these sites, Lightning Source included, have really good help sections. So you can just go and have a read of their help documentation as well, and it will explain how to do it.
Okay. And when you say upload the cover, the PDF cover, that's the front cover, the back cover, and the spine?
Yes.
So that's just that thing and the contents. So there's two PDFs, you upload them, they send you one book to check. Mm-hmm. And the ISBN number, you have to get that from Nielsen's?
Yes, it's different per country. So you basically, I think if you go to Thorpe Bowker, I think it is, or just Google ISBN and then your country, you'll be able to buy them. I just bought a block of 10, and then I assign them. You can have a different one. So like Apple iBook Store requires a separate ISBN, digital version, that type of thing. So you can end up using 3 or 4 ISBNs for a single book, depending on how many versions you're doing. The other thing,
thinking you might have 10. You might have 10 books. It's like, yes, get a 10 ISBN number.
Well, us professional writers.
Absolutely. Just keep churning them out.
No, what I was also going to say to you, when you load your book, you also have to set a price. So when you're doing this, remember with print that booksellers will often, have to take a big discount. So you it's quite good to play with the price. What you find with a lot of print-on-demand books is they're traditionally higher priced than mass market because obviously there's a little bit higher in print-on-demand. I made the decision to go as low as possible on my print books because I wasn't intending to make any money from them. So I basically break even, but you'll obviously want to add a couple of pounds on, dollars on. You also get to say what markets you want to do. So you obviously want to sell in America as well as in the UK. And I mean, I basically just sell everywhere. Because the Amazon.com site is used by a lot of different countries. So in Australia, they use the Amazon.com, whereas in England, we use the Amazon.co.uk, there's the .de, the .ca, but you can basically distribute to all of these places. So I just go with sell everywhere, at a price that you're happy with. Obviously, if you're going to price a book at £35, no one's going to buy it. Even though you might make £20 profit, it's not going to be that good. So you have to play around with that pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my plan is to I'm including an audio program with it that's going to be a downloadable audio, which means I am looking to price it higher than a normal print book. Have you seen that kind of thing working?
So how are you going to actually sell that audio? So
that would be a private website page that they would have access to through the book. The book would have a password that would get them access to that page, and where they can download all the audios that accompany the book, because it's a training book.
Yes, I mean, just an idea for you. I would possibly do it differently and sell the book for cheaper, because people, I mean, that might work for people who know who you are. But one of the beauties of Amazon is that people find you who don't know who you are, and if you have a lower priced book, they're more likely to take a chance on you. And then at the end, you could actually just advertise the audios as an extra, and people pay through. I use eJunkie. Do you know eJunkie? Yeah. So I would personally, I would probably sell the audio package separately and have the book as introducing people to yourself, and then at the end, if you like this, you might enjoy the audio program. That's just an idea.
That's good. That's worth thinking about. I like that.
Yeah. Otherwise, some random person in America finds your book and goes, "Oh, this looks interesting, but it's too expensive." Yeah.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Anything else to know about Lightning Source? Were there any tricky bits? Any times when it was hard that you were in the UK, or?
I wasn't in the UK. I was in Australia.
Was it hard being in Australia?
No, Lightning Source have printers all over the place. So some people will obviously say they're not going to buy your book because the shipping and everything is too much. Again, we'll talk about ebooks in a minute, but print books just have disadvantages as well as advantages. It's nice to have them. No, I found Lightning Source to be very easy. It's a very set and forget type of process. Once you've set it. Yeah, exactly. Once it's all there, they email you a sales report every month, and you can see how many books you've sold. No, they're very nice, helpful people, but as I said, you do need to know what you're doing. They're not going to babysit someone who doesn't have a clue.
Yes, I have no clue, but hopefully I'll have people who do.
Yeah.
And if you, as the publisher, if you want to have, if I wanted to order 10 copies to take to a workshop I was doing, or 50 copies, do they do publisher copies?
Yeah. You can you personally order directly from Lightning Source, not Amazon. If you order from Amazon, then everyone takes their cut. You might want to order from Amazon once just to make sure it works.
Yeah.
But
it's in the right book, it's not someone else's.
But no, you personally order off lightningsource.com or .co.uk and get it at a cheaper price.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Kindle. Let's talk about Kindle. You are obviously a big fan.
Massive fan.
Okay. My current thinking is to get the print book out first, and then say 3 months later release the e-version. Does that work? Is that a silly idea? What's your experience?
I now, having done this when I launched Pentecost at the same time in print and Kindle, and you obviously have a lot more work to do with the print. I now will always do Kindle before print.
Oh.
Okay, couple of reasons. Okay, Kindle, especially with the audiences that we potentially have, the first people who buy your books are your fans. And they are lovely, and you can ask them for feedback. I have quite a big community of writers and editors on the Creative Pen.
Oh yeah, so that can be fun or not so fun sometimes, I reckon.
Exactly. So of course, day one, I get all these emails. There's a typo on page, whatever. And even though you can have as many editors as you like, you can see it in professionally, pro-published books. There's still typos, there's still issues. I'd also made, I'd made classic, some errors that I'd said been in was in West Africa and it was meant to be in Central Africa, things like that, you just... And so there were probably only 5 or 6 things that I thought, yep, that needs to be changed. And one particularly bad sort of art history detail that somebody picked up that you wouldn't know unless you knew some obscure stuff. So anyway, I then fixed up the Kindle version the next day, and you just upload it and it's up there in 24 hours. The print version still has those problems, and that's...
When you go with, say, Lightning Source, once you've uploaded it, if you wanted to make a change...
No, you can upload them again, but obviously because I used a professional, I would have to pay a professional again to go back through the professional formatted document, make the changes and upload it again. And because I just said, well, six errors, I'm not that bothered, I'm going to do it later. And what I'm going to do with Pentecost, I'm writing Prophecy at the moment, which is the next one, and I'm going to change some of the cover stuff. I'm going to put chapters in the back, so I'm actually going to re-release the book Pentecost later, so I didn't want to do it again now. But that's one benefit of doing E first, is you can iron out any problems.
That's really good.
Yeah, the second thing is basically you can get more feedback, you can get some reviews going on Amazon. Reviews, if we come back to marketing, reviews are like the number one thing you need to get on Amazon. And if you can get Kindle book reviews, what happens when the print goes up is that Amazon syncs them. It takes a couple of weeks, but they sync, and then all your reviews on your Kindle book go onto your print book, and that really helps. And then you can see them on the same page. You see the print and you see the Kindle on the same page. So that's really important. So getting reviews before the print, and then also you could possibly do. The other thing is money. I personally am more a believer in making money off Kindle than off print, because the margin is just difficult with print. And also what you could do with the ebook, of course, you could put it up without the audio bonus at the end for X number of weeks while you get the print one sorted, and you could be making money for those 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And then you could put up a new version when your audios are ready, when the print version is ready, and that new version has, if you like this, click on here to go through and buy the audio or whatever. So I just think that given that you can publish a Kindle book in 24 hours, if you've got an edited version and you have a cover, why not? Really?
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Love it. Brilliant. Well, let's talk about then the two other areas, in the designing and the editing. Any just really kind of red flags, top tips around getting the right designer or getting the right design?
Yeah, I think one of the really good things that I went through with Joel was I went to him and said, look, this is my feelings around the cover, as in, for example, fire. The Pentecost story, the Christian story, is about fire, and I wanted fire on the cover. I wanted it quite dramatic. It's a thriller, so it had to be, specifically like the thriller genre. I wanted my name quite big because I want to develop a brand. So I went with a few ideas, and the way to do that is for you to look at other books in your genre, and go, and I just literally take screen prints of things, and I say, I like this text, I like the way the white space is used, I hate this, and then what happened is Joel gave me a whole load of options. He sent me a stack of ideas. He actually read the book as well. He read my book in a draft version. It wasn't perfect at the time, but
is that normal that a designer would read the book?
For fiction, I think, because there's you have to really understand what the hell is going on and to give it a good feeling. Whereas non-fiction, perhaps not,
Yeah. You can maybe get a feel for it from your website or somewhere else, but...
Yeah, it should be obvious from your book title what your book is about, right? I haven't even asked what your book's called.
Yeah. It hasn't got a final title yet,
right.
So
okay.
It's the Passion to Profit journey. It's a 12-step journey to help women make money doing what they love.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's obvious from the title what it is. Yeah. And you'll find from a lot of non-fiction that it's mainly words on a cover. And also remember, with the Kindle covers, they're very small when people are browsing. So I personally buy 99% Kindle books now. So I only really look at small covers.
Yes.
Or I go browsing in Waterstones and write down the names of things and buy them on my Kindle later.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yes, so with covers, it's really good to have something to react against. I mean, you have to be like, yeah, actually, I hate that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Designers want you to say, I hate that, I like that. They do not want, oh, just do whatever you think. You know, that's no use. So, for example, I hated having a woman's face on the front of the book. I didn't want a physical representation of my heroine,
Yes.
Morgan. I wanted that to be in your head. So I didn't want that. So that's important. With formatting, and edit. Well, the formatting is of a print book. Again, Joel did that for me for print. You don't need to have a professional do that, but I wanted it to look good on the page.
Yeah.
And I've done it myself before, and it just didn't look so good when I did it in Word. You know, if you get a professional, they do it in InDesign, and it looks nice. That obviously is going to cost a bit more money.
Sure.
And again, you can't fix it so easily yourself because you don't have the InDesign, ability. Yeah, so there's pros and cons. With editing, number one, get an editor.
Yes, because I'm guessing a lot of people, I mean, even in the early days I was thinking, I did an English degree, I can write, I'll just publish it. And then it was just this epiphany moment where I thought,
yeah,
I need an editor.
You do, and it's interesting. I mean, many of us have these degrees with intelligent people. It's not actually about that. It's about having someone outside of you say, well, what about this? Like with my career change book, I'd given it to some people to read, not as editing, as beta readers. So you also have beta readers who give you some feedback. And I said, you can ask people what's missing, what don't you understand. Sometimes you use language that people don't understand. So I used the word conker, and you know what a conker is, right?
Yeah.
But in America, it's a horse chestnut. So they don't know what a conker is.
Yeah.
Or I'd used, I think, something like cooktop, and they use different words, and so having different people read things as a beta reader is good, but as an editor should be giving you structural advice around flow, and that's different edit to the line by line edit, which is your phrasing and words and stuff. So there's all different types of editing, and you have to really look at what you specifically need. I went through structural edit, story edit first, and then later on did line edits.
Yeah. And what I really love, the guy you recommended, I got in touch with him, and it seems that you can send like a sample chapter to get an idea of what he would do with it, so that you can get a feel for how editors work. Because I'm guessing that's very important that they get your voice, they get where you're coming from. I think one of the fears is that someone's going to take your voice and just turn it into something that's not you anymore.
Yeah, that is important, and that's why you have to really gel with an editor. And they will say no as well. They'll go, sorry, this just isn't my thing. But also remember, you are the author. If an editor says to you, this has to be changed, this just isn't fitting, then it's up to you to say, well, actually, no, I want to keep that. That's also a difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing, because if you had a book deal and the publisher's editor said to you, this is not appropriate and we don't want this, you can say, no, well, actually, I disagree with you. But at the end of the day, if they've paid you, it's not your book anymore.
Scary. Oh, yeah.
So that's another thing that people think about the rights. If you get a book deal, and I'm still putting it out there, I'd love a big book deal, but once you sign a contract and you are signing away your rights to the book, to the cover design, to any of that stuff. And for those sort of control freaks like me,
not at all.
Entrepreneurs, sometimes we like that control.
It's a really good point. As a self-employed person, you are very used to making all the decisions yourself, being very autonomous. So self-publishing, it fits with that, because you again have that level of autonomy, independence.
Exactly.
Just out of interest, what's the difference? Someone I spoke with yesterday, she got a small printing company to do a short run, but actually the printing company did do a print-on-demand style thing. They used digital presses to do one-off, like print-on-demand, but it wasn't one of those three companies that you spoke about.
Yeah, well, other companies will do that. I think you would just look at the price.
Yeah.
There are plenty of companies who will print your books for you and do a short print run. And you might be, but remember, you don't have to choose one of these options. So what you could do is go with Lightning Source for your print on demand through Amazon. They are the cheapest.
Yeah.
And I mean, they are the cheapest in terms of you can set your price the lowest. So that you still make some money. But if you wanted to do a short print run of 1,000 books, you're probably best finding a local printer near where you are and getting them to do a short print run.
Yeah,
you know,
but they wouldn't then distribute through Amazon.
No,
and do that
you would just say to them, I just want to do a short print run. They would take your files and they would print the books for you, and that would be cheaper than you ordering 1,000 books from Lightning Source, for example. Well, it might not be. Again, play around with these things.
Yeah, the numbers. Yeah,
and see
make sure
what you
bring
want.
my garage.
Yeah. I also wanted to say on the traditional versus self-publishing is speed. You know, I talked about the fact you can publish your book. If you upload your Kindle files today, 24 hours, 48 hours, it's there. Whereas with a traditional book, it can take a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
And there's one more thing. It's exciting for us control freaks. Is you can actually log on to the Amazon Kindle KDP every day and see your sales.
Brilliant, I love it.
That's amazing, because authors who traditionally publish may never see, well, certainly never every day, possibly every 6 months, get a sales statement. But because apparently it's very complicated, I don't have one myself. But you know, with Kindle, you just log on and it says this is your book. This is how many copies were sold in the UK, in Germany, in the US, and Lightning Source gives you the same, so you know your sales all the time.
Great. It's very good when you've got your business head on and you're trying to figure out, is this marketing working? Is it not working?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else on the international aspect of the different, if you're in the UK, say, and you're wanting to sell to lots of different markets, anything else to know about?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, also being British, if you haven't got a US bank account and tax number, you actually do need to apply for a US withholding tax number and then exemption from withholding tax, or they take 30%. That's on the information on that is on the Kindle store, so you can find that. It is a pain in the ass, but you have to do it. And also, because we can't publish on Pubbit. Pubbit is Barnes and Noble's Nook store, if you've heard about the Nook.
Yeah.
And we also can't publish direct on the iPad, so we use Smashwords.
Smashwords.
Smashwords. So Smashwords is brilliant. Mark Coker, who set it up, is a real fan of indie. Basically, anyone in the world can load their book onto Smashwords.com. You can then, if it's formatted correctly, you can distribute it to the premium store. It's all free. And the premium store includes Apple, Kobo, the Nook, all of that type of thing. You can also distribute it to Amazon through Smashwords, but I opt out of that because I do Amazon Direct. So as an international person, I think you would do Kindle separately, KDP, and you would do Smashwords. Those are your two options.
You know your stuff, Joanna.
I've been doing this a while now.
For anyone who's watching and thinks, I need more of Joanna Penn, what should they do?
Well, if you come to thecreativepenn.com, I've got stacks and stacks of free information. There's over 50 hours of audio you can listen to, podcasts on iTunes. There's a lot of articles for free, videos for free. I also have some programs. So I have a Kindle publishing program, and I'm starting to do various bits and bobs on that. I do some coaching, that type of thing. So I really like to help people get their books out there.
I can tell it's your passion.
It is, I love it.
Can you say anything about the Kindle publishing program? How would that work if I were interested?
Okay, well, so it's a little multimedia course, and it has everything to do with, you get video, audio, and a little ebook where I show you how to set up your Kindle publishing page, what to do on Amazon. It's basically everything you need to publish on the Kindle, essentially, and that's $39.99 US.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I'm also partnering with somebody to do Kindle ebook conversions. So we're going to start offering that service as well on the Creative Pen. I just want to make it easier because there's so much information online and so many myths, and I just want to make my site a place people can come to find out the information. And at the moment, I guess I'm streamlining it. I'm trying to make it very obvious. It's like, if you want this, do this. Whereas right now I've been doing this for sort of 3 years on the blog, and it's a bit messy right now.
But as long as people can, that Kindle publishing program, how would someone find that specifically on your website?
If you go to thecreativepen.com/ebook, it's there.
Fab. I'm going to go and check that out right now, Joanna. Thank you so much for your time. Anything else that you're burning to say to me or to other aspiring published authors out there?
I really just think, get in there and do it, have a play. It's really, if you're somebody who's ready to happy to get in there and try and do it, you're going to be fine. You obviously, we haven't even talked about marketing, but marketing is a huge part if you actually want to sell books. But you obviously talk about that as part of your website. Being an entrepreneur, we have to do marketing. But hey, it's fun out here, people. Let's get our books out there. It's one of those ever expanding, exciting pies. Just because I have a book doesn't mean you can't have a book. We can all do it together. It's great fun. So yeah, please create and publish.
Yay! Well, thank you so much. It's been really enjoyable talking with you. It feels you have this lovely warmness about you, which makes the publishing world feel warm, whereas previously it's felt a little bit black and white and a bit scary to me and a bit overwhelming. So now I feel like it's okay. If Joanna's there, there's a way forward. So thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me.
Pleasure. See you later. This has been Karina Gordon-Barnes of youinspireme.co.uk here with Joanna Penn of thecreativepen.com.